I know I might look the part, but to be honest with you, I was extremely nervous when I purchased my very own farm, which somehow, why is there a rock here? Has the space and the bones to at some point be the property of my freaking dream. But as you should with any property purchase, I made dang sure to have it inspected by a professional before buying it. Wouldn't want any surprises, you know? Oh no. And as you can expect, this nearly 50-year-old house didn't exactly pass with flying colors. It had septic problems, whew, an aging roof, a little guy. What's all this stuff stuck on here? Oh my God. I've discovered a few more problems. And by a few, I mean a lot more problems, even some right now. This is the old vines. This is under the paint, dude. It's like if somebody painted the house with paper towel. Why would they do that? There's ivy everywhere. It doesn't even come off, and it's probably been dead for like years. How did I not notice this before? It's already growing back. Ew, it is all sticky. Ew. There's now English ivy inside my house. Please, anyone that knows how to get rid of ivy. I love home ownership. So much fun, guys. Comment below, what do I do? Stay away from my home. Man, this house. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I tried to write a video about some of the problems we've been experiencing. We walked back inside and Andrew's like, are the lights not working? And yeah, Andrew, the lights aren't working because this sub panel right here, which feeds like, I don't know, how many amps is that? 60 to these various plugs. Another, it says 15, but it's actually, what? 150 amps of circuits in a panel that has a 40 amp breaker feeding it. So it just blows constantly. But what was plugged into it was the server rack for the longest time, and it kept blowing. So now I've got an extension cord plugged in to the plug for the boiler because that's its own circuit and the boiler doesn't really draw any power, so it doesn't blow. Oh great, all the water treatment stuff is off. Lovely.
Turn it off, dude.
What? I love not having my water filtered. Honestly, this works out anyways because I wanted to start down here in the basement because I just know how familiar you all are with basements. And hopefully plumbing, because one of the very first things I discovered right after moving in while taking my first shower, freshly disgusting from picking up boxes, was the smell of sewage. Now I thought that it had to be the septic system. I mean, apparently it's over full, so we should get it pumped out. I did that. Shower still smelled like poo. Turns out it was far more horrifying than that because that smell was coming from the water, the fresh water. Fortunately, it's not because there was sewage in the water. We actually have shockingly clean water here. It just happens to have something called hydrogen sulfide in it, which, as you can probably guess from the sulfide part of that, smells like rotten eggs. Hydrogen sulfide is something that you can filter out pretty easily with something called catalytic carbon. That being said, the like normal canister filters you get that have it in it get like all gummed up with it very quickly. So you put one in and then like after a couple weeks, your water smells like rotten eggs again. So to make sure we don't have that problem, I got this crazy fiberglass filter tank that holds 2 cubic feet of catalytic carbon. I tell you what, when we filled it up, you're supposed to let it soak for a bit. And I was like, why do you need to let it soak? Don't you want to flush it out? Because it chemically reacts, which is kind of scary, but damn, does it ever work. Who's that? Is that the Rippy? Oh, you give me kisses? But it's not actually the size of this thing that makes it so much better than a little filter like this. I mean, sure, it's got way more media than that, but it's actually that it backflows. So every couple days at like 2 in the morning, it takes the full water pressure of the well pump, the pressure tank, the house, everything, and just rams it through the media from the bottom, back up, backwards to flush all of the crap it caught out and into the drain. Essentially, that means the pretty expensive catalytic carbon in here usually lasts somewhere between like 4 to 8 years. But what isn't cheap to replace, well, Jesus Christ, is this thing. Which is just a UV light that acts as the final stage of our filtration system after a couple sediment filters and a carbon block filter, which polishes the water. Whew, gets that nice little flavor at the end. Whew, delicious. Ain't no Dasani up in this house, boy. We got smart water. This thing is just here to kill any bacteria that might potentially end up in your well, although they should be sterile and they shouldn't be contaminated. It actually just turns on while the water is flowing and shuts itself off when it's not. You see, the water usage is 0 liters per minute right now, and it's only drawing 4 watts Did somebody just take a shit? And you know, just changing the water system, that uncovered a whole nother ball of joy down here in the basement where the water filters used to be located. If you look behind, it's just concrete, bare concrete. Oh yeah, also there's a bear. This house. This entire room down here is completely uninsulated. You see how that's just concrete in that hole? So that means we get to take all of the drywall off in here. That means we also get to take the boiler off the wall and relocate all of this plumbing by 3 inches. When am I gonna, I don't know. You know what you get when it's cold inside and warm outside and you don't have insulation and vapor barrier? Mold, which is exactly why it smells super dank down here. If I buy another house, I'm hiring a different home inspector next time. It's a big part of why my rack still looks like this, to be honest. You know, like the week before we moved in, I had this crazy idea. I was like, Brad, man, when we move in, first week we should do like, build a data center in a week in my basement and like frame out a nice wall setup. I am so glad we didn't start that. The amount of worms that would just be pouring out of that can as soon as we started. The other place the home inspector didn't check was above the drop ceiling because, oh, you wouldn't want to break the drop ceiling tiles. No, it's not hard to move the ceiling tiles, and I know that for a fact because I had to move a bunch of them for us to be able to fix the water leak that happened right here from one of the radiators that are part of the hot water heating system in this house. Shout out Dan, hit him up for all your plumbing needs in the Lower Mainland, Cedar Creek Enterprises. Yeehaw! I just really wish that was the only problem in here because, see, it's got a nice crack perfectly along all of the holes the previous owner drilled through these joists for some reason. You could have just put the wires on the bottom of the fucking drop ceiling. You know, I wouldn't be so upset about this other than the fact that these joists hold up the entire kitchen floor and that every single wire in the house pretty much runs through this floor. Which means if we want to repair this damage by sistering the joist, that's where you just add a second one next to it and nail it together. You have to pull back all those wires. And that's like every wire. Now, like I mentioned, we are going to be doing an electrical service upgrade, which means this old fire hazard of a stab lock panel is gonna be getting replaced. And all these wires, they're gonna come out. But to get them out of there too, it's just like add 3 days of work. It's one of those things, man, where just reliving it all again. The one positive that come out of this whole situation downstairs is, I tell you what, this water, Andrew, come on, just let me know.
Generally, I have not been doing stunts here, but you know.
This is, you be the judge.
You know, sometimes it tastes heavy. This isn't heavy.
We have actually made some kind of progress, per se. We painted the bedroom because like the baby poo puke brown that used to be in here before, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was like legitimately making me depressed. So while it's probably not gonna stay white like this forever, I would love to put up some like tongue and groove wood on the ceiling and like some decor, change the carpet. This was at least a big step in the right direction to being less depresso, more espresso. I also put some Philips Hue bulbs in here, so set the bedroom to purple. Purple? That's like pumpkin. Get subscribed because I have actually resumed working on my DIY voice assistant so I can get rid of Schmalexa and have it actually work maybe. And if you want to be able to make cool stuff like that and have it actually work, then you need to check out boot.dev. While they might be a sponsor, I also personally love the platform because while I'm still learning to code, I also have a very short attention span. And boot.dev, well, they basically crack the code on making programming fun and engaging to learn by basically turning it into a video game. You're earning XP, you're leveling up, you're completing quests, heck, you're even doing boss fights, all while learning. So you actually want to keep going. They have courses for developers of all experience levels with a curriculum that goes super in depth while still being easy and engaging and pew 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 to follow. But if you're looking at code and a terminal like it's some forbidden lost language, you're in luck because boot.dev also teaches you the tools of the trade, like this entire course on how to use Linux. And it even has a virtual Linux environment in the browser, so you don't even have to install anything to start learning about it. How cool is that? And since they give you all the course material all on their website for free, you can start learning how to build real web projects without any risk to your wallet. And if their interactive learning style works for you like it's been working for me, then use code JACKU to get 25% off an annual plan at the link down below. That gets you all of those fantastic gamification features for all of their courses, man. boot.dev/JACKU, let's go! You like my light fixture over here? Oh God. And this is why I hate Moretz. Also, Arlo has fallen in love with this garden window. Arlo, do you want a snack? Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Oh, you know what? I have some negativity again. I forgot. Because it turns out that the well pump in my very deep well is only 5 gallons per minute, which kind of makes the expensive giant filter I bought not really very necessary. We don't actually have enough water to really make use of that much filter. For now, that is, because later Jake, well, he's gonna install some water storage tanks. I unpacked. Look, there's just a lot of work to do up here, so it doesn't make sense to unpack all my stuff and then just repack all my stuff and then unpack my stuff all again. So you guys are so critical of me. I did at least try to unpack the TV very successfully, as you can see here. When I went to put it on the wall, I was like, whoa, this mount, that's way too high. I'm gonna move it down a bit. And then, well, I mean, I think you can see what happened. So I repaired the damage, kind of. I just haven't put the TV up yet. I didn't even write this in. There's just been so many things I just keep forgetting. Like the doors and their lack of there being a seal anywhere. A battery seems like a good thing to use as a hammer. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, look, if it lights on fire, it's on your desk, not mine. Hey, shut up! The real stuff I'm not doing half-ass, all right? And as a perfect example of that, check out my new log. Or shall I say the BC Hydro mandated private electrical pole. Woohoo! As part of the service upgrade I mentioned earlier, this had to get installed for some reason over here, despite the fact that we have a perfectly good pole right here already, which is based on the engineering drawings that I read from our local electrical provider. The drawing said 50 meters was fine, and this is only like 40. But then they told us, you know what, 30 meters, just put the pole over here. You know what, sure. I scheduled the pole guy, I was like, we're gonna put the pole over here, and he was like, great. And then the hydro guy comes and looks at it, and he's like, you know what, actually, it needs to be within 7 meters of the road because they don't want to drive on your grass. What? You drove on the grass last time you were here, what? And then after that, they were like, oh, actually it needs to be 3 meters from the roadway. That's what it says on the website. You should have just checked the website, but that's where their pole is. Am I just supposed to put my pole inside your pole? They did eventually come look at it again and they said, okay, it's fine. Which is cool because now the pole is hidden in this corner with all these trees and bushes and stuff, but it's not that cool because it's like an extra $4,000 in cable to run under the ground that extra distance, rather than the cable that they would have just strung overhead for a flat fee, which I'm hoping to offset with this, a $500 Chinese trenching attachment. I mean, what could go wrong? Good old Skitty here ain't gonna have no problem running this bad. I don't know if I could even really call it a bad girl. We're just gonna hope that it's a decent girl, at least. Big thicky welds, but rocks are heavy. Mom spaghetti. We got a welder now, so we could fix this if it breaks. Bet you didn't think about that, huh? Now we do need to do a couple things before we can try it though. We gotta have some lubrication. Like, it's grease. I don't know where it comes out. Okay, we're greased. The other thing we need to set up here is the tension on the chain. This thing didn't come with a manual, so I don't exactly know what it's intended to be set to. Does the manufacturer even know? Please hit me up. I want more of your Chinese attachments. They're so decent. I did do some Googling online and it sounds like the answer is approximately 1.5 to 2.5 inches of droop. Bro, 1.5 is a lot of inches. Oh my God, lock nut thing, jam nut. Putting my hand under here to keep this from moving. It's probably not a safe thing to do. This thing looks like it's kind of heavy. Oh yeah, I feel that, owie. So it's not moving while we're using it. And now we make trench, yeah?
A project like this, many things can go wrong.
Okie dokie there, people. Time to destroy my lawn. Oh yeah, can't wait, my lawn. That thing. I know people are gonna say in the chat, we know where the gas utility is supposed to be and it's something like 60 feet or 70 feet from where we are right now, so we should be completely safe. I think to start, I just wanna kinda get it on the ground. I don't actually know how fast I'm supposed to go. The skid steer's at like minimum speed right now. How big of a trench is this gonna make? Holy shit, it's working. Oh my God, this is amazing. I love how nice of a pile it makes too. Look at that pile. You get a little bit deeper and there's definitely a lot more big rocks. Look how nice the walls are. Oh my God. I'm shocked that this trencher hasn't just exploded yet. Since the cable is not going under a roadway and it's going to be a big armored tech cable, it just has to be 24 inches under the ground, and we have to put a little bit of sand on the bottom. So I think we'll end up trying to dig like a 30-inch trench, which this can apparently do 38 inches. Will it actually survive the entire distance? We're gonna be making a video on the entire electrical service upgrade, which is gonna be a huge pain in the ass. I know this video is supposed to be a farm update, but I'm gonna do a little bit more of this trenching because later Jake's not so bad of a guy. And maybe we can help him out a little bit. There's a lot of dirt falling back in the hole. And eventually that trench is gonna run all the way down here, bloop, 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 blah, 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 over to the garage. And I've done a bit of the work, fortunately. Man, if we were trying to trench through what used to be here, two of the biggest root balls in the frickin' universe. I almost destroyed the skid steer just to get them out, but they're gone now, which What is that, Andrew? That's a stump. And you know why that matters? Because I already had the stump guy come grind all the other stumps and I completely missed that one. He removed like 40 stumps in like 5 hours, which is fantastic. I mean, they're all just gone. It's like $1,000 a day to get the guy to come out. Also, in the process of turning my backyard into a dirt pit, I've made some interesting discoveries, like this pipe. It was only buried like 4 inches or something like that. And it just kept going away from the house. Like, what the heck is this tube for? Well, the answer, there's a little valve in the basement that you can open. It would send full pressure water down here into the side of this pipe. It's not for the foundation. This is purely here just to get the water from the roof and the eaves around to the sump pit in the front of the house. Tried to actually put a fitting in there, but it was literally like just siliconed. This is not buried deep enough either. I'm probably just gonna need to excavate all around the house, put in new drain tile, backfill it all, re-waterproof the foundation and all that sort of good stuff.
It now comes down to money.
Oh my God, massive job.
Yeah.
It's something again.
Do it all over again.
For our good old friend later, Jake.
All over again.
We knew what it was going to cost us.
It is nice at least that the backyard is all flat now. It's just that it turns out it's too late in the season, so you can't actually really grow grass at this point. So I guess this is just gonna be dirt until next spring. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do out here. Build a big patio, catio. My intention is not to turn this into a giant flat grass wasteland. I was thinking maybe like a solarium. That way the cat still has like an outdoor feeling space that he could go out into, and then we could still just make the windows open, or maybe the doors open with a really strong screen. Chain link screen. But then there were still these giant frickin' laurel bushes, which is a super invasive species, so I already don't like it. And on top of that, they're really poisonous and they run all the way along half of one entire side of the property. It's gonna be a lot to get rid of them. Also, that chain link fence over there, it ran all the way along here. So not only did you have like the separation of the pool foliage that's super overgrown, but then you had a chain link fence for some reason, and then you had laurels. Why do you have all this separation? It makes the space so hard to use. I mean, I guess if anything we've learned today, it's that not everything in this property really makes sense. Because over here in the barn, foundation, we'll fix that at some point. But what's far more interesting about this structure is this single piece of wood right here. When I had the structural engineers here to determine if we could install a car hoist in here and kind of modify the structure to accommodate that, he was looking at it like, huh, you know there's supposed to be one of these on the end of every beam, right? That means that there's 5 of these that are completely missing, and this one piece of wood is holding the entire barn up from just going like, woo. I don't know if this is gonna end up being an automotive shop like I've been talking about. Because if this last couple weeks has shown me anything, this completely uninsulated space, it's not very pleasant to work in. And I suspect in the winter when it gets down to like, I don't know, -5 Celsius, it's gonna be not very nice to work in here. We need probably to build a new building. It's also just not that practical of a building for what I want to use it for, so it should just stay a barn. Instead, if we walk past our lean, mean, blue blackberry eating machine over to the field, past the freshly cut hay. What if we built the frickin' shop over here? Maybe kind of like... Just a sec. One sec. Sorry, I'm dreaming big here. Maybe like 80 by 40 or 80 by 60. We could build a massive barn to store all the toys, to have an automotive hoist where we could work on the toys. I want to get a proper tractor so I can cut my own dang hay and just have a farm, man. I don't know, these few months have really changed perspective for me a lot. You guys have really been enjoying us screwing around on the farm and building things and renovating things. And you let me know down in the comments. What do you actually want to see? Is farming one of those things? Maybe we should do a t-shirt to raise money to build a shop. And obviously, all of this hay ain't going nowhere. It's a lot of hay. Man, we really need to cut this. That's what it means to run like a... So thanks for watching. Oh, jeez. If you enjoyed this episode of me reliving my trauma, hit the like button. Ow, ow, ow. Let me know down in the comments what you want to see.